They seek him here, they seek him there. Those Frenches seeks him everywhere. Is he in heaven, or is he in hell? That damned, illusive Pimpernel. Of all franchises in the world, the superhero franchise is probably the biggest and most redundant, especially the secret identity routine, where our hero has an alter ego where he acts like a complete loser to throw anyone off the suspicion that he may in fact be the hero everybody looks up to. And that routine originated with the Scarlet Pimpernel, the grandfather of all the modern superheroes. I can't help but snicker a bit when I tell you that it was a woman who created the Scarlet Pimpernel. Baroness Emuska Oxy, I think it's said that way, I'm not really sure, but the Baroness wrote several books with this swashbuckling hero character a hell of a long time ago. Actually, the Scarlet Pimpernel is over 100 years old, as the first novel was published in 1903. The stage of the story, though, we have to go even further back to the 17th century during the French Revolution, where the French aristocrats were sent to the guillotine to be executed. Sir Percival Blakeney was an all-round fop and an idiot, English aristocrat living in his mansion with his wife, who doesn't know his secrets, travelled to France in disguises to smuggle the aristocrats who just happens to live in France out of the country and back to England. The story is told from the point of view of Marguerite, Percival's wife, so it's kind of a discovery story, as she doesn't know who he is, and neither does the reader until the absolutely end of the book. So she doesn't know why her husband is acting so distant and so strange to her, why he disappears all the time to be away for quite a while without any explanation, and she slowly puts the pieces together by herself to solve the mystery, as she gets kind of involved in all kinds of intrigues and plots from everywhere, just trying to make sense of it all. Which in fact makes Marguerite the main character of the book, which is interesting. The first superhero story, the woman is the main character. As surprising as it may sound, the Scarlet Pimpernel hasn't been filmatized an awful lot. I would like to see an updated swashbuckling version of it, but no one seems to have even mentioned it, or even think about it, or want to touch it. I don't know. In the movies, the objective is moved from Marguerite to Percy, driving a bit more around the secret identity superhero scheme, as we as an audience know precisely what he's doing and how smart he is, and knows he's only acting around when he's not alone. There are only 2 movies and a Broadway show I can think of to mention. First, there is the classic black and white movie from 1934, starring Leslie Howard, a bit later known from Gone with the Wind as Sir Percy, aka the Scarlet Pimpernel. Leslie Howard is great at both playing the fop and the dashing hero, and he just changes between the two characters in less than a second in front of your eyes. One moment he's standing explaining how grave the situation is in front of his men, the next he's playing around with the Prince of Wales. And yet, when he is acting as a fop, you can see the intelligence behind his action. He is deliberately making a fool of the people around him, making them feel like idiots. A fantastic routine that for some reason is never used in superhero movies today. It's all secrecy and serious, while here, Percy really uses opportunities and even enjoy in mocking his enemies in broad daylight. The most iconic scene in this film is when the villain of the story, Troublin, have used Marguerite to snatch a secret letter stating that the Scarlet Pimpernel would be in the library at midnight precisely, and when he walks in there, all he finds is Percy sleeping on the couch. So, he actually caught Percy the Scarlet Pimpernel red-handed, but did he ever realize? And he just keep being there forever, waiting for the Pimpernel to meet up, while Percy imitates that he is sleeping. The ending climax is fantastic. There is no swords or fighting in this, only a battle of wits and seeing what Percy could possibly come up with next. Chauvelin have caught Percy right where he wants him, in a dirty tavern in France, where Chauvelin is sitting on the power and Percy is nothing but an aristocrat ready to be sent to the guillotine to be executed. And then Percy suddenly yells out he has an escape plan all the time, only to say that he was lying, to yell out another great escape plan, or even a suicide plan, only to reveal that no, there is no gunpowder in the wine barrel, so of course he isn't going to blow them all up. But you just never really know for sure whether he's serious or not, or if he's just playing for time or desperation, if he really does have a plan. And I don't know, it's poor Chauvelin. The other movie is the television movie from 1983, with Anthony Andrews as the title character, James Bond girl Jane Seymour as Margaret, and Gandalf, probably the most famous actor of the lot, Ian McKellen as Chauvelin. There isn't much to be said about this movie that haven't already been said about the other movie. This is, for all intents and purposes, a remake. The same things basically happens all the time. All the performances are great and intelligent. Anthony Andrews has a great lazy-back voice for his fob performance and snaps directly over to the hero without a second's hesitation. I even think I enjoy him most when he dresses up as an old hag or a dumb farmer as the Scarlet Pimpernel to fool the guards. Andrews has a lot of voices and composures to offer, and he nails them all perfectly. Ian McKellen of course, does always only deliver the best. He is sinister and evil, but yet we feel bad for him in a way, as he is kind of only doing his job. And not only that, from his point of view, Margaret gave him up for the most forbest person in the universe. The Chauvelin from the Leslie Howard movie was kind of a comic weak villain, who we laughed off half the time. You don't laugh of Ian McKellen. Once again, though, Percy grabs every opportunity to make a fool out of him, constantly mocking Chauvelin, only making Chauvelin more and more angry, determined to see Percy and Margaret go down. For a TV movie, it's a good movie. It stays true to the Scarlet Pimpernel, and in lack of other things, I'm just glad it's there to keep the Pimpernel alive. And I know, the Broadway show. How many wants to go from talking about swashbuckling movies to talk about a bloody musical? I just happen to like musicals, and I really like this musical in particular. This is a fun show, and a fantastic tribute to the Scarlet Pimpernel. Talking about a theatre show is very different from talking about a movie. As a movie is a finished product and will always stay the same, while a show is constantly changing, even when only playing on the same stage with the same cast. And when it's taken off a stage to put up someplace else with other actors, songs are removed and added, scenes moving around and so forth, you are standing with a very different show. The show is hilarious though. As it is a show, the pacing is quicker and the situations are often changed to be more theoretical. The couch scenes from the book and the other two movies has been changed for a face-to-face confrontation, where Chauvelin walks in to find the Scarlet Pimpernel and Percy just didn't manage to escape in time. So he has to use his wits convincing Chauvelin that he is not the Scarlet Pimpernel, and even does so mocking Chauvelin at the same time. The music is fantastic, written by Frank Wilhorn, who have written a couple of Broadway shows, but the only other one which was kind of successful was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The first act showstopper being Into the Fire, where Percy and his men is marching towards France, and the closing first act song being the Triquet, the riddle between Percy, Chauvelin and Margaret, creating the perfect triangle plot. The person playing Percy will always be quite busy as the character is allowed both to playing the fob, the dashing hero, and be in disguises while being in France. He mock around Chauvelin, making a fool of the poor man. Chauvelin is as dangerous than ever, and Margaret, as always, is a very integrated part of the plot, making this, quite frankly, a bloody good show, a great tribute to the Scarlet Pimpernel, but I would still wish for that movie.